Hey y'all, Life in China with Patrick, where we bridge the gap between China and the West, fighting the warmongering politicians and pundits who seek to destroy life as we know it. Those irresponsible twit heads tweeting from their rubber room with their toes. Oh my, prehensile punks. A bit of house cleaning. Number one, first of all, I want to thank those individuals who made some donations last week to our episode. We really do appreciate it. And if you haven't made a donation, we humbly request and ask that you make either a small donation or maybe a massive, gargantuan donation to our cause, because it does take a lot of time to edit these videos and the audio. There is a QR code on the screen. You can just scan it and it'll take you to my PayPal account, or you can click on the link in the description section below. Let's get started. Joining us again from his, he, her, them, they, undisclosed location in his, he, her, them, they, mother's basement is Billy Joe Jim Bob.
Hey now, I might be a redneck, but we consider ourselves progressive and inclusive. I am so happy and honored that you used all my pronouns. Personally, I like wearing my mother's dresses. Makes me feel sexy.
Does your mother know you wear her dresses?
Of course. Well, my real mother passed away, so my daddy took over the role of my mother. He wears her dresses too. Every Sunday, we put on Mom's best Sunday dress, and we walk into church. And our church has just openly accepted our transition and now flies a trans flag above Jesus in the sanctuary. Instead of drinking grape juice for communion, we drink trans-colored Kool-Aid with Everclear. And then after that, we eat pink-colored unicorn marshmallows in place of the bread. After everyone gets nice and drunk, all the trans people put on negligees. You mean negligees? Yeah, those two. Then we force all the kids under 14 to watch us dance while we're hardly dressed. I tell you what, there's nothing more exciting than sticking your butt in front of a 12-year-old girl. All the kids really love it when we shoot target tuck clothing out of the PVC pipe bazooka.
Okay, that's enough. I mean, that's criminal behavior. You should be arrested.
Ooh, does that include handcuffs, whips, and leather chaps?
This conversation has gone way off the tracks. We have digressed, and you are now officially uninvited to this show.
Oh, come on, I'm just kidding. We may not agree on China issues, but I do agree this new ideology is extremely dangerous and criminal. The problem is most Americans, including myself, are too complacent to do anything about the insanity. We'll sanction beer companies, but won't do anything to protect innocent children from getting their hooters chopped off.
Okay, you had me there for a minute. Ha ha. You know what? You are what I call a Facebook patriot, or a social platform patriot. You'll go as far as crying foul on Facebook, you'll throw a temper tantrum, you'll troll some other people, but you'll never actually do anything that would stop this.
Well, I can't argue with you on that. We are complacent. I mean, really, I think most of us just want to get back to watching the Game of Thrones for the 10th time.
Why don't we transition from talking about transitions to recent U.S. and China drama?
Oh, I get it. That was a great segue. We were talking about the trans movement, and you wanted to transition from talking about the trans movement to something else. That was funny.
Nice. You're smarter than you look.
Oh, thank you. That's nice of you to say that.
Looks like we got more spy drama. Last episode, we talked about the spy plane and the Chinese ship passing dangerously close to one of America's ships, even though it was like 150 yards from it and it wasn't even moving. At least the U.S. ship wasn't moving.
Hey now, be nice. I heard the ship's captain, the crew, the pilot, the co-pilot of the plane, that they're all still in PTSD counseling. And they're all in this catatonic state, so they can't even get counseling. So it's just a horrible situation. You need to really think about the well-being of our military men and women.
So this week, America found out China has had a spy base in Cuba since about 2019. Before that, it was actually denied and then admitted, then denied again, and now it's admitted that they supposedly have one in Cuba.
Oh, love it. That's nice.
It's kind of funny how we just talked about a scenario. Maybe it was foretelling, I don't know, or being prophetic. That what if China sailed a ship between Cuba and Florida? Well, we have something better than that. We actually have supposedly, we have a spy base just off the coast of the United States in Cuba.
We sure did talk about that, didn't we? I can't believe the gall of China setting up a spy base in Cuba. If we don't watch it, China will exceed our 800 military bases around the world. I gotta send warmonger, rhino, neocon Lindsey Graham a message telling him to dust off the Monroe Doctrine, lock and load, and get to the chopper. We have to invade Cuba.
Wait, invade Cuba? Does that come before or after we invade Mexico?
Simultaneously, of course. Both countries are a danger to America's self-admiration. China, Cuba, and Mexico are all jumping into bed together in their perverted cahoots party. Do you realize what is actually happening? China is moving in. Cuba is our patio. Cuba is our porch, and they're on the door knocking on it, getting ready to come in and invade America. You know what? It reminds me of my worthless unemployed cousin. He showed up a couple weeks at my house at 2 a.m. in the morning, half-dressed, drunk, said he lost his job, his family, and needed a place to stay. Well, me being the nice family guy, I allowed him in, said, hey, you can stay for a couple of days. Next thing you know, he's sucking all my resources, drinking all my Bud Light I bought for $1.50 at Target.
Wait, hold on. I thought you said you stopped drinking Bud Light. Now you're buying Bud Light at their new discounted prices?
Well, okay, all right. I sanctioned Bud Light for a weekend. I cut them off for a full weekend. I would not drink their beer. And I thought that was a tough lesson for them. Besides, and don't tell anybody this, admittedly my cousin is a trans. It was his birthday. Target had buy 10 cases of Bud Light for $1.50 and get a dozen tuck underwear for free. I couldn't pass up such a steal.
You were so sold out.
No, they sold out of Bud Light pretty quickly. It was like opening day on Black Friday. It was a horde of blue-haired feminist trans zombies fighting over super cheap beer. Do you know what it feels like to get punched in the face by someone who's a man but dressed like a girl? This woman did not punch like a girl. Anywho, back to how my cousin reminds me of China. In one night, he ate an entire Sam's Club-sized container of pig skins. He sits on the sofa for hours on end playing my Xbox on my 80-inch TV in my double wide. And what's worse about it, he wipes his boogers on my sofa. Now, after a couple weeks, my sofa fabric feels like bark from an oak tree. China is using the same approach. Invade a country, show up on the doorstep, say, hey everyone, I'm America, I'm gonna act all nice. Hey, nice to meet you. We're here to help you. We're here to bring democracy. Freedom of speech. Oh, by the way, we brought some trans storybooks for everyone, and they're all free. Here's some flags that you can have. We got some wigs and some makeup and lipstick. Also, we need to save you from our implanted top-secret CIA operatives implanted in your country 5 years ago to topple your government so we could rape, pillage, suck every resource from your country, then leave you as a vassal state to do our bidding. That's exactly what China is doing to Cuba. They are on our porch and they're getting ready to invade our country and steal our resources. Hello? You there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just trying to figure out how to respond to this. And what resources are they stealing from Cuba?
Well, they do have a bit of iron ore, some petroleum and minerals, but my best guess is they are going after the bananas, mangoes, and Cuban cigars, which is strange because cigars are illegal in China, unless you're part of the CCP.
Mangoes, bananas, and Cuban cigars. First of all, cigars are not illegal in China. I will actually occasionally buy a box of cigars.
Ooh, better be careful. The Chinese Gestapo police might show up and arrest you and stick you in the Chinese gulag until you end up looking like George Soros, just for smoking cigars. Oh, wow, he's getting old. I'm feeling kind of queasy after seeing that picture.
I know I'm going to regret this, but why are they stealing all the bananas and mangoes?
You dummy, because of the nutritional value. And they don't allow toilet paper in China.
Wait, hold on. First, they have toilet paper in China. They allow toilet paper in China. Second, what do bananas and mangoes have to do with toilet paper and going to the bathroom?
They use the mango and banana peels to wipe their bottoms. It's much better than using dried corn on the cob. Makes their bottoms silky smooth and slick.
My show has gone down the toilet. I can't believe this. No wonder we don't have any sponsors.
If you need to go to the bathroom, I've got some mangoes. Be of good cheer. We'll be invading Cuba soon and reestablishing a military base there.
The U.S. already has a base in Cuba. It's called Guantanamo. We have a permanent illegal lease there.
Oh, that's right. You just reminded me that illegal base has about 20 Uyghurs that have been tortured and held with no trial. I bet you China invaded Cuba so they could get those Uyghurs back to China so they could torture, brainwash, and exterminate them in Xinjiang, in no particular order.
Wow, that is probably one of the craziest theories I've ever heard you come up with. This is what's happening. China is learning to play the same game as the U.S. That's what this is all about. The U.S. flies spy planes over China. They fly satellites over China. They send ships and spy planes onto the doorstep of China, the Taiwan Strait. America probably has 20 to 30 military bases within striking distance of China. If they did set up a spy base in Cuba, they just learned how to play the same game the U.S. has been playing. Do you have any less insane theories?
Well, I think this is the most logical one. China has a spy base there for listening purposes. What they want to do is they just want to confirm their suspicions.
And those suspicions are?
That Americans are really as stupid as they act. Also, they want to steal all the Netflix and Amazon Prime movies, especially Game of Thrones, as it's illegal there in China.
I just came across a tweet that reminds me of our whole conversation this morning. It's from Marfugal News. He's got a YouTube account and a Twitter account. And the tweet says, and he's actually responding to another tweet. So let me read it first and then I'll explain what he's referring to. So it says, and people don't know he's referring to China, will be in charge of us if people keep looking the other direction. Many are on hashtag the payroll or hashtag ignoring those who are. So let me read that first part again. And people don't know they will be in charge of us, talking about China, if people keep looking the other direction. So Marfugal is responding to a tweet that says, the largest construction site in the world, building Xi Jinping's city, the Xiong'an city. Every street will have facial recognition cameras watching you. Essentially, what Marfugal is suggesting is China wants to take over and then install cameras and control the American people. Here's my response. Suggesting China will somehow take over the U.S.? ? Sorry, but you make the assumption China wants the U.S. Have you looked at our country? Sexual deviancy on the White House lawn, mutilating of children, warmongering politicians. I'm sorry, China doesn't want to manage Babylon, pursue peace, end quote. What I should have said, China doesn't want to rule over Caligula.
Caligula? Is that like a female body part?
No. Here's a description from the book Caligula, Divine Carnage by Stephen Barber and Jeremy Reed. And here's the quote. Caligula is the most notorious of the Roman emperors, a vile degenerate who seduced his own sister, installed a horse in the Roman Senate.
Oh, wow, a horse in the Roman Senate? I wish they would do that. Maybe my horse could get some free hay or something like that.
He turned his palace into a brothel, married a prostitute, tortured and killed innocent citizens on whims, and committed countless other acts of madness, cruelty, and deviancy. End quote.
Wow. Sounds like a country I know. Cough, cough, cough. America, America, America.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? I want to say to all those people like Marfugel, Gordon Chang, who think China is intent on taking over the U.S., and it's just repeating what we just read. What makes you think China wants to take over a country full of a bunch of degenerate prima donnas? Taking over the U.S. is like wanting to buy a 1974 Pinto. I mean, those were a piece of crap. I mean, you can't even, people want to give them away and people don't want it. That's like the U.S. China doesn't want to invade. And then think about the logistics of moving millions of soldiers to the U.S. coast, on the West Coast or the East Coast. It would be impossible. Second, China doesn't want the responsibility of rehabilitating the mindset and morality of Americans. America, please, and I'm begging you, please wake up out of your drunken stupor before it's too late. You need to stop believing everything that you hear about China or things that are going on in the world. Do your due diligence. Fight back with the truth. We are on the precipice of World War III, and very few are fighting against the insanity. You know what I wish for? I wish I were smart enough that I could actually connect China and America. I'm talking about the politicians. And show them that we are all the same. We are humans and we live in 2023 and we've done all these great things as a society, technologically speaking, medically speaking, and we're acting like cavemen. We just can't seem to get along. And I wish I was that person that could say the right thing exactly the way it needed to be heard so that it would change the hearts and the minds of people. I may not be the most eloquent person, but I'm a passionate, loving person that doesn't want to see the United States and China go to war. I hate seeing dead bodies, videos of dead bodies on Twitter because of the war between Russia and Ukraine. And I don't care who's at fault. It needs to stop. People are losing children. They're losing their sons. They're losing their daughters. They're losing their livelihood. And the world seems to be going on the same path as Ukraine and Russia. And I don't want to be there. I don't. I have a soon-to-be 3-year-old son. I've got a 9-year-old son, and I've got a 25-year-old son in the United States, and I would like them to live out their life, pursuing their passions, pursuing their hobbies, getting married, and having children. But it just seems our politicians want to do something different. So please, guys, wake up, pursue peace, because the alternative really sucks.